Are you concerned about your memory or worried about developing dementia? If so, you're in the right place. I'm Joanne Cheng Tandok, a brain health and cognitive wellness specialist with over 20 years of experience in dementia care. Here on Remember Me, we dive into science backed practical strategies to keep your brain sharp and reduce your risk for dementia. Join me as we explore how you can age confidently and stay mentally vibrant. Before we dive into ways to prevent dementia in daily life, we first need to have a solid foundation, and that starts with understanding what memory is. Memory enables everything we do, from recalling basic facts like your address or where you live to doing complex tasks such as driving to go home. Memory forms the basis of all learning and our personal identities. Memory and cognitive health are linked to overall quality of life, making memory a critical focus for brain health. So, in this episode, we will define what memory is, what are the processes involved in memory, and what are the different types of memory. My hope is that by knowing what memory is and how it works, we can better appreciate how to protect and enhance it. What is memory? Memory is our brain's ability to store, retain, and retrieve information. From this definition, we can see that memory is not a single entity, but a process comprised of a collection of abilities. Memory involves three key processes: encoding, storage, and retrieval. Let's look at each process more closely. First, encoding. This is how we transform sensory input into a format the brain can store. Encoding can be visual, like remembering a face, acoustic, like recalling a song, or semantic, which involves understanding meaning such as learning a new word. Effective encoding is crucial for memory retention. For instance, relating new information to something familiar can help us remember it more easily. Next is storage. This is how we retain encoded information over time. We have two main types: short-term and long-term storage. Short-term storage holds limited information briefly, like keeping a phone number in mind just long enough to dial it. Long-term storage, however, is more permanent and can hold vast amounts of information. Think of the difference between recalling a recent conversation and remembering your childhood home. These are good examples of short-term and long-term storage. Finally, retrieval. This is the process of accessing and recalling stored information when needed. For example, you might recall someone's name after seeing their face. But retrieval isn't always perfect. Sometimes we experience the tip of the tongue phenomenon, where we know something but can't quite recall it. Retrieval often depends on context, so it's sometimes easier to remember information in the environment where you first learned it. Let's continue to see how complex our memories are. Memory can be divided into three main types: sensory, short-term, and long-term memory. Sensory memory is our brief, immediate storage of sensory information. This type includes iconic memory, which holds visual details like a flash of lightning, and echoic memory, which captures sounds like hearing your name in a crowded room. Sensory memories last less than a second and act as snapshots of our experiences. Meanwhile, short-term memory is our temporary holding space for limited information. It's often described as being able to hold around 7 items. Within this, we have working memory, which actively process information like when you're doing math, calculating a tip, or remembering directions until you reach your destination. Finally, the last type of memory is what we call long-term memory. This is more enduring and includes two types, declarative and non-declarative memory. Declarative memory is conscious, with episodic memory holding personal experiences such as your last birthday, and semantic memory storing general knowledge like knowing that Manila is the capital of the Philippines. Non-declarative memory is unconscious and includes procedural memory, which helps us with skills like typing, driving, or playing an instrument. As we get older, it's natural to worry when we start to notice ourselves forgetting things. But know that forgetting is a normal, healthy part of how our brain works. It actually helps prevent information overload by clearing out details we don't need. Our memories aren't designed to be perfect. They evolved to help us survive. So while it's not crucial to remember all the names of your high school classmates, it's essential to remember those close to you, like family, friends, and coworkers. There are many reasons why we forget. Memories fade or decay when they aren't practiced or recalled regularly. That's why we're more likely to forget the names of our high school classmates than the names of our current coworkers. Let's revisit once again the memory processes of encoding, storage, and retrieval. Forgetting can happen if there's a breakdown at any of these stages. For instance, encoding requires us to pay attention. So if we're distracted, stressed, tired, or anxious, we don't encode information well and are more likely to forget it. Storing information also requires active effort. It doesn't happen automatically. To store memories effectively, we need to focus, organize, understand, and connect new information to things we already know. The characteristics of the information itself matter too. Memories tied to strong emotions or unique details are often stored better. Sleep also plays a crucial role. A good night's rest helps consolidate memories. So if we're sleep deprived or don't fully understand new information, we're less likely to remember it. Finally, forgetting often happens at the retrieval stage. We've all had moments when we know something but can't recall it right away. This could be because older information interferes with new information or vice versa. For example, you might struggle to remember a new password because your memory of the old one keeps getting in the way. Let's continue to talk about why we forget and how different types of memories play a role. Episodic memory, for example, is like a scrapbook of our lives, filled with personal moments and details. But these memories are sensitive to time and interference. Think of an old vacation. You might recall the big highlights, but specific details can easily fade. On the other hand, procedural memory, the kind you use to ride a bike or drive a car or type on a keyboard, this is much more resilient. This is because we learn these skills through repetition, making them almost automatic and difficult to forget. Then there's short-term memory, where information is only held for a brief period, and sensory memory, which captures details from our environment for mere seconds. These are both fragile forms of memory, so if we don't apply certain strategies, the information won't stick. So what can we do? Simple memory strategies can make a huge difference. For example, you need to remember a series of numbers like 4, 1, 6, 2 1 4 1 2 2 5. Right? To remember this series of numbers, you can use a few methods like repetition and rehearsal. By repeating this number several times, we reinforce it in our minds. Another method is by chunking. Okay, so ever wonder why we put the dash line in between phone numbers? This is actually to aid us better in remembering our phone numbers. So by breaking the information or the numbers into smaller parts, we help our short-term memory hold on. So instead of trying to remember all 10 digits, we try to remember 3 to 4 digits at a time. Another memory strategy that you can try is association. This is linking new information with what we already know, like associating the numbers into memorable dates can make recall easier. In essence, by understanding how our memory types work, we can be more proactive in retaining information that matters. So to summarize and conclude this presentation, the next time you start worrying about your memory, first remember what we have talked about today. That forgetting is normal, that memory is not a single ability but a process, that there are different types of memory, that we will tend to forget if we did not properly encode and store information, and that by using simple strategies like association and repetition, these can enhance our memories. Thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow Remember Me on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook for more tips on keeping your brain healthy. I love to hear your thoughts or answer any questions, so drop a comment below. And if you're serious about preserving your memory and lowering your risk for dementia, consider working with me one-on-one through my brain health coaching program. Together, we'll build a personalized plan to help you stay mentally sharp, confident, and independent. Let's take control of your brain health one step at a time. Bye for now.